Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. Okay, well, something's off here. Ah, yes. Okay. All right, so we're starting at the bottom of the range again. That's really interesting. So I'm just gonna pull over this one. So here we see ZB, ZNZB moving lower. We moved lower Friday. We're moving lower today. This is a little curious. I think that although the overnight action is awfully 26, 34, I don't know. There has been a lot of action, but it's very disorganized, you know? Kind of lots of volume all over the place. So that's kind of interesting. And then when you look at the E-mini, the E-mini is actually a little bit lower. So that's kind of interesting. And then Bitcoin, nothing crazy happened to Bitcoin over the weekend. There was the move down on the 14th, but then kind of came back and now they're fighting it out. Although in the futures, it does look like somebody's been buying it. So I'm not sure what the deal is with that, but cumulative delta is long. Yeah, we're moving up, see? Moving up quite a bit now in the 10-year. Now let's pull up the links. Okay. We'll pop in here. We have news. Oh, we have the Empire State Manufacturing Index here in 7 minutes. Good morning, Zerv. Not liking this setup. China warns it won't just play defense in a trade war with the United States. I don't know, man. Yes, it is. It is time to move over to December. I don't know, guys. This whole setup today kind of makes me uneasy. Like, they're going through with tariffs today, right? Has the market really already priced all that in? I just can't. I'm having a hard time understanding. Yeah, because I think we missed everything. Well, yeah. What was the news that drove us down here? I don't see anything. Is Donald Trump been tweeting? Our steel industry is the talk of the world. It has been given new life and is thriving. Billions of dollars is being spent on new plants all around the country. Donald Trump 2 hours ago. Tariffs have put the U.S. in a very strong bargaining position with billions of dollars in jobs flowing into our country, and yet cost increases have thus far been unnoticeable. If countries will not make fair deals with us, they will be tariffed. A lot of small and medium-sized enterprises are registering very good profits, sometimes record profits. Their stocks are doing very well. Low-income workers are getting big raises. There are an awful lot of good things going on that weren't during President Obama's watch. Peter Morisi. So, is the market saying to us that, yes, we're having a trade war? And yes, a trade war is generally bad for business and bad for the S&P 500, but that the trade war is not so extreme that it is causing deflation. In fact, it is causing inflation, and therefore rates must continue to rise and creating a rate squeeze. You know what I mean? So here's the question then is the neutral rate, right? Where did they say, didn't the Fed say what the neutral rate, what they thought was the neutral rate? I think the question, right? Is then do treasuries just continue to go down until we hit the neutral rate? So I think we're still below a neutral rate, right? If not, we're like right at it. And then if these tariffs continue to push things, and then you get past the neutral rate, and then it actually does become a real track on growth. And then what? Because the Federal Reserve can't lower interest rates then, because then you get runaway inflation. I think at that point, the administration's negotiating room has ended. You know, they would have to back off and let the economy grow a bit more so that you could you know, raise rates and stuff. Well, actually, you wouldn't want to let it grow, right? You would want to just kind of let things go sideways for a little bit. I don't know. It's still like just so when I think through that scenario and I look at what we did overnight, it still doesn't quite fit, does it? Well, you are getting a lot into 025 there. So I guess they want to hold it below that. Okay, so here's news. not hearing anything else. I don't have the volume on.
Employment index came in at 13.3, and 6-month business conditions came in at 30.
Okay, Empire State Manufacturing Index was 19 versus 23.2.
Now looking at the Canadian data, Canadians buy 13.13 billion Canadian dollars in foreign securities in July. The prior for last month has been revised up from 11.25 billion in June to 11.29 billion. Foreigners buy 12.65 billion in Canadian securities. The prior month for June has been revised up from 10.3 billion to 11.55 billion.
I don't know, guys. That kind of looks like somebody got the news early, doesn't it? Yes, yeah, it was a Fed Manufacturing Index, and it was a bad number, so we moved up, but it started moving up 10 minutes before the news.
Yeah. And randomly too, I've been watching since like 6:30, and like they just been hammering through levels. Like when I first got to the office, we were here, and I mean, they were just sitting there selling it, and then out of nowhere, a buyer stepped in right at 7:20.
I made my morning run to the store, sat down, looked at the action, and I'm like, damn, it is all over already?
So,
and there's no other news other than the manufacturing, yeah.
the Z8, Z9 Eurodollar spread is offered 50 basis points, so they finally have 100% odds of two rate hikes in 2019 priced into the Eurodollar market. Took them forever, but they finally edged up here.
So you're right. Mondays.
Just waiting on all this August data to come through.
So Mondays tend to be slower. We have news, so that helps. And it has moved a lot in the overnight session, so that helps. And the opening range was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ticks. So, and it's only been 5 minutes. So this could continue, but we are getting a lot of absorption at 0.25, which could be an indication that they already made their trade and are getting out. So I think it might be really quiet here. We are looking forward to a more beautiful counterattack and will keep increasing the pain felt by the United States, the Chinese language column said. This is the Global Times, Chinese newspaper. Well, that's not a little creepy. They might decline to participate in trade talks. And now this whole thing with the trade war just seems awfully negative to me, you know? Well, you could potentially take this here. I mean, we didn't trade 30. And there's a big order there in the 30-year. I don't know if that's enough to justify taking a short. But if you get filled at 02, the risk reward definitely makes sense. You could trade, well, I don't know, maybe it doesn't make sense because you put your stop at 30, but chances are if they touch 30, they're going to touch 35, so maybe taking a trade there doesn't really make sense. I'm also noticing this order here in the 5-year. Kavanaugh's mom was the presiding judge over Ralph Blassie's foreclosure. Ralph is Christine Blassie's father. Christine being the person that's accusing him, right? Yes, and it wasn't proper for the Senate hearings. I think that's important that they didn't bring it in the Senate hearings, even though they knew about it at that time. So that would have been an opportunity to ask him about it and let him talk about it publicly, and they intentionally didn't do it. which means probably the Republicans still go through with the vote on, what is it, Thursday? I think the vote is on Thursday, the 20th. Kavanaugh's accuser is willing to testify in front of the Senate. Okay. I still feel sick. I feel kind of weird. What did tick up there? So now they're saying that that's good long, but I don't know if that's... Let's reset the DOM at least. The action still looks a little like not our action, you know? This might just be... We might just need to sit this out.
Just in breaking news, we are hearing from Northern Ireland. The deputy leader says will not countenance anything that creates barriers and within UK internal market or erects barriers in customs regulation.
Okay. When I first sat down, I felt quite weak, and I was like, oh, I'm feeling better, like I'm getting better. Right now, I mean, my nose isn't really clogged up, but my head just, I feel like I'm swimming. Regarding interest rates, does this create better opportunities in treasuries, or does it tend to mess with this market? Well, my, what is the word? My experience so far, that was the best word I could come up with. And that's how bad I am today, I guess. But just going off of the spring, you know, when this first happened, when there was concerns about interest rates rising, we had that one day where things just went crazy, right? There's actually 2 or 3 days where we had pretty outsized panic moves up in treasuries. But then beyond that, it's been kind of mixed and difficult trading. So I'm kind of leaning towards that. It's like it does create some opportunities, but it doesn't seem to me to lead to like super strong trends either, you know? Because it's like something standing in the way of treasuries going where they really want to go, because where they really want to go is people want them to go down as the economy is getting better. That's kind of how I've been seeing it. Because when we had trade war stuff in March, well, it definitely started in February too, right? So when it was January, February, things were just going really well, and we just trended down and down and down, and it was great, and I was making a lot of money, and then...
From Reuters on a headline that I saw, Ireland, it says Northern Ireland's DUP MEP Dodd says not countenance anything barriers to and within a internal market or erects barriers in customs regulation.
So then when the trade war stuff became a little bit more dominant, it didn't go as well for me. And then April came along, and then things became extremely range bound in April. Now I think that may be a cyclical thing. I don't really remember a whole lot about the April before that, but I don't think that I did well during that time. So maybe it is that the summer is really from April till September, you know?
Just an emerging market news. We are hearing from IMF saying important progress being made in standby deals with Argentina. Productive meetings have been held in these areas.
So it's kind of interesting the way that it's looking here, but if you look here on this chart, there's the head and shoulders. There's the shoulder, there's the head, and there's the shoulder. But you're not getting the accelerated selling on the right shoulder. And in fact, Delta has been up through this whole thing. And the delta on this one was actually higher than this one. The buying on this shoulder was higher than this shoulder. So it looks like a head and shoulder on the chart, but it is not a head and shoulders. And that makes me suspicious.
Just some more from that IMF statement on Argentina. And the standby deal talks aimed at strengthening Argentina's economic policy.
Yeah. The sell program in the 2-year, every 2.5 seconds are selling 3 lots.
No, 2 quick ticks down can make things look awfully different, can't it? Hmm.
Just in US sector, we are hearing from PayPal COO, and the bill
Yep.
PayPal announcing global rollout of payment.
I'm gonna try this one. Because there you had the kind of the head and shoulders going down, and now it looks like it's potentially failing. Okay. Man, I just feel like weird. Do I look weird?
Just an FX, we have seen recession really sterling. It has risen now to a high 131,
Okay.
up about 6% today.
So they're still kind of hitting that in the 10-year.
US News: Federal Reserve says that Richard Clarida sworn in as member of Board of Governors and Vice Chairman.
Okay. Interesting. We're not going to get filled, are we? Boo. Maybe this time. Nope. I don't think I want to pay up.
Just in Canadian existing home sales rises 0.9%.
Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, you could have bought 015 and taken a tick.
Just hearing via social networking, if no backstop deal for Irish border, no Brexit deal.
I want to try something today, actually.
That's from the officials. If no backstop deal for Irish border, no Brexit deal.
You many failed to break out. What, to the downside? They are kind of selling it. Oh. The CIA is spying on us, guys. That's what that. I don't know if you can hear that, but I can hear it in my headphones. That's my cell phone. Send in my microphone interference. Did you guys watch the last webinar Grady did? I haven't seen it yet. He spoke about how many professional traders may make 300 a year, but most of the time this might mean making 350K in 2 months during the really good conditions and then losing 50K the rest of the year. That actually makes sense. Yes, I agree. My general takeaway from the past year or so has been that overall, the way that I'm trading does have a profitable edge over that time period if you trade it well, but that it you could go several months and just it not work very well at all. Because from April to about end of July, picked up in August, but that whole 4-month period or so, it did not work at all. And my general conclusion was that when it's doing that, you just stay away.
selling some size in the 2 here at 12. I'll program at 12 seconds.
Okay, now that tick down was interesting. So they took it in a manner that I wouldn't have been able to stop sell it. Even if I had had it sitting there. Like if this gets filled, I immediately went out at 015. So I can see that 015 is balanced. In fact, I should put an I there. It's an interest area. Would we end up getting filled below it? We should get out at the interest area based on, because I don't have a super strong indication of what the trend here is. It seems like it's still up or reverting back to the mean, but it's not super clear. Ah. Like, if that was live, there's a good chance that that might have actually filled me. Because the sim is more strict. It would kind of depend on how much of that would actually pull in front of me or not. But to be at 11, you know, it's totally possible. And then I would be out already. Hmm. Now we're seeing an iceberg at 015. Hmm. So seeing an iceberg there is kind of... It kind of makes me wonder if there was somebody else there looking to get filled at 10 and they didn't. It doesn't necessarily mean that it will continue to go up, but it just kind of makes this a little bit less, harder to get filled. But I still think that if we do get filled, we can dump it on at 0.15 and, Okay.
In equity news here, hearing of our sources via inviting financial investors to bid for 60% stake in park operator Corenta.
It says one more. Okay. Good deal. There's one. Well, that was a lot of work for $15, folks. It's a new ES contract, so I'm curious if it'll even be but be volatile. Why don't you use the Ultra Bond? That's a good question. So I have it on here. See right there. So I have it on there. I've never tried trading it. Oh man, the Ultra Bond is really it got an interesting profile going on there. I remember that Fran would trade the Ultra Bond, and she did pretty good just pulling a couple of quick ticks out of it. So it might be worth trying some of those strategies on the Ultra Bond. But mostly I just don't have enough room on my screen. So I got... Yeah, this isn't going anywhere, so I'm gonna go on a little rant here. So maybe you guys can help me out here to solve my conundrums, huh? So let's see if I can show you, if I just grab this. Let's see if it comes out far enough. So I'm going to show you the room here. So here's the room, and here's the corner that I'm in, right? So there's a window there. Then there's that corner where the echo comes out of. Then there's this huge hutch, which you know, it's kind of a problem. And then I got the other computer right there, right? And then here's my setup, right? So I got like 3 monitors, and I got these studio monitors, right? So I'm kind of to this I'm kind of in this conundrum where, like, I feel like I would like more screen real estate. Like, I wish that I had another monitor, like my main monitor. You know, and I would just, you know, put it on top or to the side. Maybe I'd have 2 of those. But I would like to keep these little ones too, you know. Like if I could have 6 monitors, I think I would actually put stuff on it. I don't know if I would use it and if it would really enhance my trading, but, you know, I would kind of like to be able to see it, because I would kind of like to be able to have DOMs like this up for the 2-year and the ultra and oil and gold and everything like that, right? The euro dollar, these sorts of things. I mean, there's lots of other stuff that we could put up on there, right? But the problem with that is I got these speakers, and they're not in a terribly great position anyways. But, you know, if you know, the speakers are like above the monitors, or like peeking over the monitors, it's not a great setup. And I don't want to put like the speakers like in front of the monitors, you know. Maybe I do need to just put them like really far apart, but I don't know how that works or what that does. And so, you know, I'm kind of stuck there, because basically having a ton of monitors and then having a music workstation kind of conflict with each other, basically. So that's the first thing. And then, you know, where I'm positioned in the room is really bad for acoustics anyways. You get lots of room reverb and stuff. So what I would really like is to be on this wall over here, and then have the big hutch thing behind me, and hopefully that would be a little bit less reflections coming into the microphone. So, like, I want to completely rearrange everything, right? And then there's another problem. Yeah, DOMs for days. So then the other problem is that, so we've talked about moving it over there, but the wife doesn't like it. She doesn't like it. She don't want to do it that way. Yeah. And we're kind of talking about putting in like a little chair that she could sit in and stuff too. So I don't know. I kind of feel like what I want this desk to be along there, and then I want this whole wall to just be tables. And then
Rosenblatt Securities on Apple, saying the combined iPhone XS and iPhone XS Max pre-orders to be about 10 million in the after launch.
And maybe other machines, you know. Maybe I build the 3rd machine, have 1 machine that's just for trading.
Rosenblatt going on to say that iPhone XS and the Max pre-order are weaker compared to the iPhone pre-orders.
I don't know. Anyways, the setup for trading and the setup for music and the setup for the room overall are all in conflict with each other. And so, and I guess the other thing is this Asus monitor that I have is awesome, and I wish I had 6 of them, but that would be really expensive. Minimalist desk which hides cables and you only see the monitor and keyboard with your mouse. Yeah, I mean, well, I kind of try to keep it that way. It's a little messy on here, but you know, I try to keep that as clean as possible and just have all of the cords like back there. But Again, the problem is that there's just too much stuff. I'm actually trying to consolidate. So like I have a mixer. There you go. Uzi has 4 ASUS monitors. Wow. This one is it's like the high refresh rate one is kind of the thing with this one. So it would be like, you know, $5,000 to get a full array. And then you'd need a thing to put them on too. But then what do you do with the speakers? You know, is it possible for me to put the speakers like on the desk, like way out here? It's interesting that they never went through the O1. That trade definitely would have worked. It actually could have been worth too, but that wasn't the trade. We were so range bound and don't want to bet on it coming out. Plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If it comes back down again, you're looking at a zipper, but a zipper, the context of it is a little iffy because we were higher. So does that mean a reversal here is up, but then the preceding tick going into it, and that's what I tested it on, was down. And so I think even for a 1 tick, sorry, for the 2 to 3 tick zipper trade is not make sense either. And the delta is just kind of random. Oh, sorry, all over the place. So yeah. Yeah, see, according to this, the monitors and the and where you sit are supposed to form an equilateral triangle. See, probably the best thing to do in this situation would be to get a second monitor with the widescreen and just put it above, because it just doesn't seem like for home studio that the whole dual monitor setup really works. Okay. Another tick up. I guess I shouldn't minimize this.
9.4 billion euros of assets public sector program in the week September the 14th. That's versus 8.181 billion euros a week earlier. ECB bought a net 936 million euros assets covered bond purchase program 3. That's versus 459 million a week earlier. ECB also at 750 corporate bonds versus 848 million earlier.
Some of my charts are messed up here. I don't know why it does this. I need to go get the cumulative delta will screw up from time to time. That's a little better.
markets and FX is seeing the dollar make fresh lesson. Able to tick above the 131.15 and around 10 ticks shy.
So, only thing I really saw there is I could have caught long, but even then, it's like even if I would have put it in the 30-year, I only would have got the most like a tick out of it.
Yeah, that reminds me of the other day where we had a pretty good initial move and then it just seemed like ridiculously slow. And remember, I was all like, yeah, this is bad trading for us and stay out and everything. And then eventually it like really picked up and we missed it.
Right. You know, every time I was looking back to see.
I think it was Thursday or Friday.
Looking like, let's see, we're at the weekly VWAP in the 10-year. It looks like it does want to break out upside. Yeah, and then 16 is the weekly VWAP in the 30-year, so.
What I'm seeing right now kind of looks to me like people buying up the 10-year, trying to short the E-mini because the E-mini is kind of moving down a little bit and maybe they're going to break out to the downside. But I always get screwed over on that one. It's like, okay, so you go long 035, which would be okay. But then what if the E-mini doesn't actually break down there? Then it's not going to work out.
What I'm watching, kind of want to get long, but I mean, they've traded 1,000 now into the 05 and the E-mini. They're iceberging, clearly. All right, I'm long. Long the 10-year at 3.5.
Yeah, it does seem like it's picking up. There is that big order above us in the 5-year. That kind of makes me want to go long too.
Buying Eurodollars with some size. H20, D9 as well.
So I'm a little concerned about the 5-year being in a range there. I'm a little concerned about the location and the risk involved. Okay. I liked that tick up where they immediately 400 went into it. Yeah. Okay.
Stack that 4 offer right back up every time you take
Yeah, that's getting that's too thick now. Why 035? Was that a key level earlier?
Oh yeah. The Bund is at VWAP as well. Its VWAP is 01. Traded into 03. Yeah. Something I wasn't paying attention to that I should have been.
I don't think that buying here is correct with our strategy. Now that we're seeing the 6 there.
It's just across the board, kind of a resistance area. Averaging 10,000 contracts per 5-minute interval over the last 30 minutes, and that's relatively weak. Relatively quiet, anyway. I got out at 3 for -1. That was literally the exact area that Seth was just decided it was not going to break down, and that's thing on it.
It was interesting on that one that as soon as we felt like, because I was kind of sitting there thinking the same thing you did, that like, oh, actually they're hitting into that 035 pretty aggressively now. Maybe they actually are going to go through. And like, as soon as that happened, that 6 showed up at 04.
Right. Yeah, there was just a number of things that were worth watching there. Like, I know I made the note of weekly VWAPs in both the 10 and the 30, but also the Bund coming up to its VWAP, which is a very reliable setup, or something that you should definitely watch at the very least. 30 minutes.
So there's a possibility that I'm able to scratch it on a sweep. Well, maybe not. They're kind of iceberging it, actually. But I am going to be able to get out of this.
Trying to know another long at 03.5.
Hearing from EU's Barnier saying the
There's
Brexit
some
deal is
big
possible
buys
if
coming through
the
Z9
integrity
Eurodollars.
of the single market is preserved.
Really across the board.
The EU's Barnier saying a
Just
Brexit
lifting.
deal is possible if the integrity of the single market is
The
preserved.
bond is lifting pretty good too.
More from EU's Barnier saying the EU offers full support to Spain in the Gibraltar Brexit talks, which must conclude as soon as possible.
Okay, so now I'm seeing this 6 show up here.
Geopolitical news hearing from the UN Political Affairs Chief telling Security Council there are signs North Korea planning and developing its nuclear weapons and ballistic missile programs.
You can see the E-minis pushing lows again. There was a pretty big sell spike there to try and push it further down.
Now the fact that we're ticking through lows in the ES and I can't get tick out of 10-year is disheartening. Especially with the bond as strong as it is. There we go, that was it. Okay.
Okay.
I guess all I gotta do is bitch about it and I get what I want.
Yep, there's that big bid trying to push it again, like we've been seeing last week.
Yeah.
I mean, they could always be a trap and they just pull it, but it's going at now 3 levels.
Yeah, they just don't want to take back into these little one lots. But size is trading into 1.5.
Sorry, Jigsaw. Gosh. Didn't know you were so touchy.
Wow. That's an adamant buyer there. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
That bid to go ahead and post whenever they look. Offering 4.5 to cover my 3.5.
This is going to be another one of those over 10K ones. Which, right in front of the big order is a little odd.
Eurodollars pretty much across the board. Going after 86.5 and Z9 again. Like, today 16,000 have tried to buy it up, and I think most of that has happened in the last 20 or 30 minutes. Another 2,000 that bought 86.5 in Z9.
ZB definitely looks like she wants to take a shot up.
1,000. All right, there you go. I'm filled.
There's a lot of big guys hitting into 045 there.
Yep. I'm flat now, though. Wow.
It seems like as soon as they get to 8K, it's like it always goes through it for at least a tick.
Yeah.
Stain equity.
Notice. And look at that one at 04.
Send now. Over. Send. The likes of Apple and Netflix also trade power.
Jesus.
I don't know, every time I see that, I'm always like, that's not going to stay. They're going to hit into it and it's going to pull. But, you know, it did that 2 or 3 times last week and we never even tested it. It just kept going up or down or whichever direction it was going that day.
Well, Euro stocks are just, they're at the highs. Be aggressive.
So the E-mini has had a pullback and there's not a lot of delta behind it, and it looks like so they've put up a decent amount at 045. That 050 is not strong. It was at one time.
Some geopolitical to nearly 7 and nations of UN sanctions.
It'll be interesting to watch if we drift back up, if 10-year sees that 15, 12 and a half. It's kind of high concentration of volume we had last week. Like I said, I posted on Twitter. I looked at weekly profiles and I compiled, get what it was. There were two intervals that were 3 weeks together. I think it was like the sometime in early July and then another time at the early August. Anyway, but that level I had marked as it was just a lot of very focused volume there. So curious if we'll come up and test it again this week and can continue to trend down. At the very least, I know that we're definitely going to interact with that level a bit. I think it would be pretty weird if we don't at some point this week come up and spend some time in that area, even if we just go up and reject it real quick. But it's just there's just so much, got to be so many positions open there, That's like that 14 and 14 and a half level that for whatever reason just a ton of volume would sit there and through day after day.
Yeah, 2 days at least that it did that. So there's the 5-year taken up into it. Doesn't seem like it really wants to go at the moment, though. Okay, that's fine. I wish I'd taken the 035, but
Seller stepping in there at 12.5 in the 2-year.
Well, they've been back and forth there at 045 quite a bit now. See, this thing right here is like kind of your signal that we're buying. Although I find it interesting, we ran into it about right here. But then especially here, I don't know. There was 4 ticks in it, but now the 4 ticks are over. So like, you get hasty buying into that, and you've got another 4 ticks to the high. That's what you'd have to be betting on to be buying into 055. I'm not so sure about that, especially with this big old sucker in the 5-year right there. So I think I kind of missed my opportunity.
All right, guys, I'm gonna cut out of here. Good luck.
Later. Yep. They could definitely go through it, but I think that when we were back at the VWAP and we scratched that trade, we missed the opportunity. Like the 0351 was okay, the 0451 was bad. It was right here. We took it right here when it went through 035. I don't know.
steering that in and to be weighing return steps on US goods. Still be layering in goods to the rising on Indian goods. India set to weigh delaying some of those retaliatory steps.
No, you know, I didn't even realize that it's already 8:30. I think there could be another move, but the time frame. I'm just kind of looking at the time frame. I very often will see some pressure around 8:30 and not actually see it resolve itself until after I have to leave at 9 Mountain Time. So I think that there is a chance that we might kind of stay here, and then I don't know if it's going to come back to the VWAP or it's going to go through, but there definitely looks like there's going to be an opportunity here when London closes.
Continuing hearing via White Trump's Supreme Court's nominee Kavanaugh going to the sexual misconduct.
Well, they went through, touched 06.
in energy news hearing via head of China's National Energy Administration, saying Russia and China discuss supplies of 5 to 10 BCM of gas via Russia's Far East may sign a deal in the first half of 2019.
Well, they're kind of making it look like it wants to go through that big order right there. Oh, hold on. It's kind of funny, all of those trades, they didn't look good when I end them, but they were all could have made money when I scratched it there. And they were all buys, so, you know, it was not terrible. I really liked the way that alligator worked out, so I think I did that one right. This one, I'm kind of wondering, kind of feeling like maybe I got a little, influenced by other people on that one, because when it happened I was a little worried about taking it, and then, you know, I think that messed me up, so I think I still need to be a little bit away from seeing other people take positions. It seems to influence me. You know what I'm saying? Look at my notes posted. I'm waiting on submitted this thing here. It seems to take a while to submit for some reason, though. Let's see if I can get it to do it.
Just hearing in US news, all 10 Democrats on the energy judiciary asked for a postponement of Thursday's plan.
Yeah, of course. Of course they do. If I was the Republicans, I would push through with it. Okay, well, it's 8:50. I don't know why this isn't submitting, but I'm just going to leave it alone. So yeah, one tick today for Monday. I mean, hey, I'm okay with it if it's a Monday. There was definitely a turnaround in volume though down around here that you know, we bought into, that I think I should have kept. So I'm not quite sure what my deal is, but you gotta be careful with that one, because when you just hold on to it and think that it's just going to keep going, and that's when they stop doing that. Oh, looks like the 5-year did get through it. So there you go. Okay. Well, so that's that. I did want to get that. 173 countries. Okay, yeah. Anyways, I'm just yapping. I will